preface here. There are some dash builds out there, but I think this one is really unique. First of all, this was made thinking in farming rainbow goblins, especially. So that's the first thing that allow us to make some modifications. Why this is different? Well, the first thing is you can use dash a lot more. Actually, this is intended to be using only dash. Whenever you see builds like this, whenever you use the ability, you start seeing that you start lacking spirit. And in this case, as you can see, you can use it quite often and you are not missing any spirit at all. Of course, it's not perfect, at least not yet, but you can really just keep pressing and you won't miss any spirit. However, this is not the case for this build. The idea is for you to keep press the ability as much as possible. And of course it excels better in some maps than others, but it's quite fast. What do you need to make this build? First of all, since we're only focusing on getting rainbow goblins, we are going to be playing on normal difficulty. Why on normal? Well, this will probably work in other difficulties, but I'm just focusing myself on making the build as fast as possible. That's my main goal. Okay, so let's move to skills and the armor that you need to make this build. And after that, I'm going to show you the best maps to use this build. You can use it pretty much anywhere. However, there are some maps, mainly in Act 1, that are just incredible for this build. They work, they seem to be made for this build in particular. Alright, so first, Blinding Flash. This will be only to get some spirit back whenever it's necessary. And the Replenish Light rune will help with that. For the dash, we're going to be using the Fire rune, and this is mainly because we are using the Cinder Code armor, and that basically makes the cost of dashing less. So that's pretty much mandatory if you want to follow this particular build. Sweep in the Wind, we're going to be using the Inner Storm rune. This will help us with the spirit, of course, and also in synergy with this ability, we're going to be using the Kiyoshiro's Soul, so you can press it at the start of the game and forget about it. You will be getting spirit from that ability and that item. Okay. Also, Mantra of Healing, Circular Breathing. Of course, this will give us more spirit. Mystic Ally, the Air Ally, more spirit. And Epiphany with the Holy Rune to get more spirit when it's activated. This is going to be our main ability to help us keep dashing activated as much time as possible. So, even if I'm playing on hardcore, I'm not using the cheat death ability. This is also one of the reasons that we are playing on normal, Beacon of Yatar. Less cooldown for the abilities, this is going to help us especially with Epiphany. Chant of Resonance, so we get spirit every second, 4 spirit every second. Guardian Pad, we're going to be generated 50% more spirit, this will be also helpful. And Exalted Soul, this is going to give us 4 spirit per second, and also it's going to increase our maximum spirit by 50, so definitely helpful. For the items, in the cube we need the Ring of Royal Grandeur. This is pretty much necessary for this to work. and we're going to be mixing two sets. The first set that we're going to be using is the Raiment of 1,000 Storms. Why this one? Because we need the 4th set ability to dash. It will use more spirit, 75 spirit, but it will refund a charge. So as long as we have enough spirit, we're going to be able to just keep using the ability. So in this case, I'm using head, hands, and shoulders. And the other set that we're using here, it's the Captain Crimson set, the Captain Crimson Trimmings. And we are using only 2 parts of the set. However, since we are using the ring, we get the benefit of the 3 items. Alright, so the weapons. We need 1 Indium. It doesn't have to be an ancient Indium. If you have one, nice. And you really need to focus on getting 1 reroll with resource cost reduction. 10% will be ideal. On the other hand, and this is going to help us with cooldowns whenever we kill a melee deck. On the other hand, we need the Jailbreaker, and this is basically going to make us refund a charge whenever we hit an enemy dashing from more than 30 yards away. So this doesn't always happen, but it will help us to keep using the ability whenever we do this. Also, be sure to roll resource reduction on this weapon as well. In case you haven't seen, we have 69.5 spirit cost reduction. It's quite a bit, and I believe you do get diminishing returns after a certain number, around 50%, but you can keep stacking it. And this is the most spirit reduction that I could get. If you can get more, it will work even better. Of course, if you can reroll a stat on any of the items for resource reduction, do that. In this case, I do have rerolls for the globes, for the shoulders. For the neck, I wasn't able to reroll, but I did have resource cost reduction by 5%. So yeah, you want to have as much spirit reduction as possible for this to work. What else do you need? I'm going to be using the Endless Walk set. This will give us a little more resistance when we move, more damage when we are not moving. This is really not necessary. You could change this for something else. The main thing is to have a ring that has resource reduction. This one has. For the other ring, I'm using really just another ring that has resource cost reduction. If you can find something useful with resource reduction, use that. And yeah, that's pretty much all the items on the cube. Besides the Ring of Regal Grandeur, use the Lyrics Crown. This is going to increase the effect of the gem that we have under Helm. And of course, we want resource cost reduction, so be sure to use a yellow gem there the best you can. And for the weapon, whenever we destroy objects or kill enemies, we have a 20% chance of getting primary resource back. This is also going to help us a lot getting spirit back. Since we want to be only not killing monsters, but destroying the objects around, we're going to be using the Breath of Lightning gem, at least rank 25. We really don't care about the movement speed. We care more about destroying the objects around us, because that will give us a chance to get spirit back. Okay, for the other legendary gems, it's really your choice. I'm using Bane of the Powerful and the Efficacious Toxin, but go for whatever you like. Maybe the Gogok of Swiftness gem could be useful for the cooldown reduction. So how do you use this? You will be mainly using dash. That's the first thing. You will be using it in a particular way to have as much benefit as possible, but just let me explain you of the other part first, because it really depends on what kind of map you're running to really see all the benefits of this build. And if you heard that, that was my talk. Right, so you will be using dash. Whenever you start seeing that your spirit is going down, you are going to activate Epiphany. If you are seeing that you are still missing spirit, the spirit is still going down, you are going to be using the active ability of the Mystic Ally to get spirit back. If you are missing some spirit, you are close to some mobs, to some monsters, you are going to be using the blinded flash ability. However, mainly the two things that you are going to be using is the dash, and whenever it's available, Epiphany. That's the main two things. So, what are the best maps to use this? As you can see, if you are playing on an average screen, the distance that you have from the center of your screen, where your character is located, to the top, let's say it's 50 yards in game. However, if you take that distance from the center of your screen to the right or to the left, that's a much bigger distance. Now, if you consider the distance that it's available from the center of your screen to one of the edges, top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right, it's a lot bigger. And why this is important? Because if you dash up or down, distance is really limited. Sometimes you end up pressing some ability that you don't want. From left to right, it's a bigger distance, so it's a bigger dash. But if you dash in a diagonal, it's going to be even better. Okay, so that's the main idea here. We're going to be using maps that increase this benefit. Maps that have this asymmetric view, this diagonal corridors, hallways, to really maximize the use of this. So before you do the run, be sure to go to sounds and see that only the effects bar is activated. This is what you need to find the goblins. We're going to be focusing mainly on Act 1. So you can go to the usual suspects: Southern Highlands, Northern Highlands, and the cave there. It's not that effective, but you're probably already very familiar with the zone, so it won't be that difficult to navigate. However, where this really shines, the first part will be Holzwagen. Level 1, level 2, level 3. Once you get to the end of the level 2, you are going to teleport, but let me show you. So, diagonal. And you pretty much want to do that. You want to position your mouse cursor at the diagonal. As you can see, I haven't used at all Epiphany yet. Look at that, we have a goblin. So once we have a goblin, we're going to teleport to the next part. There's really no reason for us to keep moving here, so let's do that. But yeah, you're going to select an edge of your screen and keep pressing the ability until you find a wall. Whenever you do that, you are going to make a little stop to decide where you want to go next. And this is mainly to avoid using the ability against the wall and losing your spirit. You really don't need to take pylons or shrines. But yeah, you're going to, as long as there's a way to continue, you're going to keep pressing the ability. If you find a wall, you can stop and then decide where to go next. So at the beginning, you can take your time just to get used to it. The main thing is don't let your spirit go to sleep. But since you are using a lot of good abilities here, it's not going to be that easy for you to go to 0. Okay? The main thing to avoid is just using your ability against walls, because you won't go anywhere. Okay, if you get here, just teleport to the next part, and once you get hang of it, you will be able to move a lot faster. And you will become addicted to long corridors. You can pretty much just dash through them really fast. So yeah, that was Pulse of Agony level 1, 2, and 3. Alright, on the Weeping Hole, this is the only map that it's going to be a little bit different from the others that we can really use for this build, and we're basically going to be doing a swap. Since we didn't have clear hallways and corridors to focus our ability or dash, we're going to be moving our mouse a little bit. If you want to go right, keep pressing the dash, of course, and move your mouse cursor a little bit up and down. So if you are pointing at a tree or something like that, you are going to be missing the dashes. However, if you are moving your mouse up and down, it's going to be easier for your character to get moving. So here's how it works. So, it's quite fast. As you can see, I pretty much scanned the whole area, and you can even see the zigzag there that the character took. But if there was a goblin there, you will be able to hear it, and you are able to scan this area super fast. So right now we have 4 levels: Halls of Agony, 1, 2, 3, the Weeping Hole. As I was saying, you can also do Highlands, south northern part, because they are already so familiar, and because the spawn rate there of goblins is really high. So what else you can do with this? Of course, the Cathedral, level 1, 2, 3, 4, and the Royal Crypts are incredibly good for this build. Let me show you. You see, that's some speed, and that's just not available with other builds. And here the Goblin here. What is it? Oh, I already killed it. You have to remember that you are normal, so sometimes you will be killing mobs before you know it. Okay, I heard another goblin. Here you go. So as you can see, it's quite fast. As long as you are aiming correctly with your mouse cursor, because if you are not using the maximum distance possible whenever you're using the dash, you are going to be missing some distance. And if you are dashing 2 times to get to the corner of the screen instead of 1, you're going to be using twice the spirit. So you will be getting hang of it, but try to focus on that. And you can really see the change of speed when you are not using your dash on the corner of your screen. You are using it to the center or near to your character. You will see some small dashes. However, if you are using it pretty much on the corner of your screen, you move way faster, and those dashes are way more effective. I really love this one. Check this out. That was super fast. Okay, so that's it for Act 1. Also Agony, Cathedral, Northern Highlands, Southern Highlands, Weeping Hollow. The other map that you can check, it's on Act 2, and it's the Archives of Sultan Kul. We're going to be going to the Unknown Depths and the Stormholes. Why? Because you will find straight corridors on these two maps that are really good for this build. One thing to notice is that since we're in a low difficulty and the Serpent Wind is auto-activated with the belt that we have equipped, this is pretty much going to make you not to worry about most of the mobs when you are teleporting to the next zone. So let me show you how a run will be. I'm going to speed up this so it doesn't take too much time with you. I'm going to be running on that one Highlands because the spawn rate there is good. Halls of Agony and Cathedral because this build excels in those places. Also Weeping Hollow. For Act 2 I'm going to be going to the Archives, and I'm also doing Act 5 Pandemonium Corpses level 1 and 2 just because the odds there to find a Goblin are doubled. Okay guys, so I found the Rainbow Goblin there really fast. I didn't get to do the full run, so I'm going to do that again, speed it up again, just for you to see how this works. Remember to be checking your chat whenever you are in the Rainbow level. Whenever you find an elite pack, check the name. If it's named Princess Lillian, the wings will drop. If it's not, you can just keep moving, don't waste any time. Let me show you the run again. Alright guys, so that was the full run that I'm doing with this build. It's really fun. Sometimes it's a little bit tricky at the beginning because you are moving quite fast, and also sometimes you are not taking the full advantage of the dash. Remember, try to use the ability as far away from your character as possible to take the full advantage. But it's super fun. You will be moving really fast, and it becomes kind of addicting, really. Let me know what you think. Try it. If you have any other suggestions or additions to this build, please let me know. If you liked the video, please like. If you didn't like it, dislike. But let me know what you think. Let me know what I can improve. Also, please subscribe. Thank you for watching, guys.